An Evening in Guanima. This is a treasury of folk tales from the Bahamas. It is a second edition by Patricia Glinton Michaelis. And today I am reading from the introduction. I think this is something that's worth hearing and something that we need to bear in mind as we continue to celebrate Black History Month 2024. So, in the introduction, it says, in folk stories, magic drums, ghosts, obedient and disobedient children, heroes, tricksters, and birds that assume human form hold sway in a world where poetic justice always brings about a satisfactory ending. This is the patrimony of childhood and the stuff of An Evening in Guanima. This treasury of Bahamian folk tales is a tribute to my birthplace, Cat Island, thought to have been called Guanima by the Lucayans, the first Bahamians. Like so many of the islands of the Bahamas, rural Cat Island is rich in folklore and was once the center of a vibrant Bahamian storytelling tradition. My appreciation for the heritage of my people and belief in its uniqueness were formed largely during stays with my grandparents at the teacher's residence in Port Howe, or that might have been Port Howe. Therefore, during evening storytelling sessions, I learned many of the traditional songs, rhymes, and tale motifs, which formed the launch pad for my own imaginings. Unfortunately, few people talk old story or even remember one nowadays. Like many people, intensive activities, storytelling has fallen prey to modernization. Electronic and other forms of entertainment are anesthetizing the creativity of our oral storytellers and the need which produced them. As a result, few fully developed traditional stories are still told. In many cases, vague recollections of central characters, perhaps the basic plot line, or a brief song or incantation are now the only memorials to tales full of incident, metaphor, and special sound effects. Unless storytelling receives a fresh injection of creativity and recaptures its audience, the tradition will be lost to us. That's my caution to those of us who are very much into storytelling today. I'm going to read that last line again. Unless storytelling receives a fresh injection of creativity and recaptures its audience, the tradition will be lost to us. So says Patricia Glinton Michaelis in her second edition of An Evening in Guanima, a treasury of folk tales from the Bahamas. And I really want to say that is something that should scare us, those of us who know the richness of our oral traditions as passed down through many generations. We do know that storytelling has always been an integral part of our Black history. And so, yesterday we talked about telling the other side of the story. Today we want to make sure we continue to tell our stories. There is a lot that characterizes us in the Caribbean, in the African diaspora the world over, and we want to celebrate this particular aspect of our culture, of our tradition. When I was a child, my father in rural Jamaica would wait until we were without electricity, which sadly was too often, and he would pile us all into one room and he would tell us stories. He would scare us with his stories. He would entertain us with his stories. We would laugh, we would cry, but we always enjoyed the way he would throw his voice, add his songs, and today I tell those stories to my children. My nieces and nephews hear those stories because they became part of our upbringing and part of who we are. So she talks about marrying and becoming creative with our storytelling. For Black History Month 2024, I am attempting to marry my love of books and storytelling. I am attempting to marry this with my love of African clothing and just looking at Black creative expressions. I encourage you to do the same. Have you told a Brother Nancy's story lately? Remember Brother Tukuma? Whatever the story might be that was told by your foreparents that were passed down to you, continue this oral tradition. Let's enjoy the stories, even if it means telling stories on YouTube, even if it means WhatsApping the details of the stories, even if it means using the electronic medium to deal with presenting stories to our future generations. Let's keep storytelling alive. If you get a chance, please get your hand on this book. It is An Evening in Gwenima, a treasury of folk tales from the Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Stephanie Fullerton Cooper, and this is Black Creative Expressions on English Expressions with Dr. Steph. Please remember to like the video and be sure to subscribe. I look forward to joining you next time.